Hey, let's talk about modding bonk.io. For those who don't know, somehow, bonk.io is an online multiplayer game about funny balls that hit each other. And it turns out that funny balls hitting each other actually has an active modding community, but there isn't a lot of guidance on how to actually get mods installed. That is what I'll be showing today. First, some background information. There are actually two totally different ways to install mods. You can do it either via TamperMonkey, or you can install mods directly as browser extensions. TamperMonkey is a browser extension that basically lets you save and load mods as script files called user scripts, whereas browser extension mods are completely self-contained and installed on their own directly. Typically, the biggest mods will provide the option to go either route. So I'll show you how to do either, and I'll do it in both Chrome and Firefox. I don't have Safari, sorry, get wrecked. So before you can actually install mods, you first kind of have to find and download them. And a great place to do this is the bonk modding community. There are a lot of channels here. The one you really want to focus on is the curated mods channel. This is a nice big list of what we think are pretty much all the best mods. The two big ones, actually really the three big ones that I want to show you are kklee, bonk-host, and gmmaker right here. Arguably the three most popular mods. So here are the GitHub pages for them. Pretty much if you want to download these mods, you're going to be downloading them from each of their respective GitHubs. The first place to check is always going to be this releases section here on the right. So we'll go to that section on all three of these tabs. You can see here that we have v1.1, it's the latest. Yeah, so one thing to note is that bonk is an obfuscated game, which means that every time bonk updates, the entire source code changes, which means that all the mods for it typically have to change as well. Now, there are some clever ways to try and get around that, and sometimes you don't actually have to update your mods. But if you ever have a mod that just randomly stops working, check to see if maybe bonk just updated and if there's an update to the mod. You may have to go through this process again or uninstall or so on and so forth. But anyways, for instance, with kklee, you have a kklee.user.js and you have a kklee.zip. So this isn't explicitly stated, but if you see .user.js, that's typically going to be something that you install using TamperMonkey, whereas the .zip, that's typically going to be the fully fledged browser extension. And I'll show you how to install either of them. It's kind of a similar situation with bonk-host. You have bonk-host.user.js, that's for TamperMonkey, whereas bonk-host.zip, that's going to be the standalone extension. And then again, game mode maker 098.zip, that's the standalone, gmmaker 098.user.js, that's the TamperMonkey extension. Now, this is where we kind of have to diverge. If you're going to go the TamperMonkey route, which a lot of people recommend because it'll actually hold on to your mods and let you manage them a little bit more effectively, you're going to want to now go install TamperMonkey directly. And the reason for that is right now, if I just click on gmmaker.user.js, it just kind of downloads. But if I install TamperMonkey, then it'll give me a nice little install page. So we're actually going to hold off on doing anything with TamperMonkey. First, I'm going to show you how to install all of these things just as standalone extensions. So to accomplish that, I will download kklee.zip. I will download bonk-host.zip. And I will download gamemodemaker.zip. Now, because most bonk mods are not actually cryptographically signed, we can't install them like normal extensions. Instead, what we have to do is go via essentially the developer tools. In Firefox, we do this by going to About Debugging. So if you go to the About Debugging page, this will take you to a nice little area. You want to go to this Firefox, and once you're here, you can click Load Temporary Add-on. And that's all you're going to need. So now I have the three mods that I downloaded. We've got kklee, and I can open that up. And it's installed now. Now, if I go back to bonk, I'm not going to see anything different. You know, the editor just looks like normal editor. But if I refresh bonk.io, now I have all these extra buttons. So that's extension number one. I'll go ahead and install the other two extensions at the same time. So we'll load another temporary add-on. Go to downloads, get game mode maker. I'll do each one at a time. So the key thing to look for with game mode maker is there's going to be a little gear in the custom game menu, in the host menu. So you can see this gear right here. That indicates, hey, I have game mode maker installed. The final mod is the bonk-host mod. And fun fact, I've never actually installed this mod before. So I don't know what it looks like or even how to use it, but I'm installing it. And if I refresh, we'll find out together what this actually looks like. Okay, so as you can see, I have successfully installed all three of these mods in Firefox using the self-contained extensions. Now here's the thing. Firefox is very interesting about temporary extension installs. These will only stay installed for the duration that I have Firefox open. If I close Firefox, which I'm going to do right now, and I open it back up and I go to bonk.io, you can see I've lost all of my mods. Now, this is a quirk that is very particular to Firefox. This is not, to my knowledge, how it works in Chrome. So if you're using Firefox, this is probably one reason you might want to use TamperMonkey instead of direct extension installations. That's probably a good segue to actually go into how to install TamperMonkey on Firefox, and then how to install these mods using TamperMonkey. So to install TamperMonkey, I mean, honestly, the first thing is just to find TamperMonkey. I'll post the link in the description for this as well. So you can just click Add to Firefox because this is an official extension. It's pretty easy to install. Well, official. It's signed and it's distributed on Mozilla is what I mean by that. And okay, we now have it installed. This button up here in the upper right has just appeared. That's the TamperMonkey logo. Click on this. I'm going to go to my dashboard here. And you can see I don't have any scripts installed. So now that we have TamperMonkey installed, we can begin to install all three of these mods, this time using TamperMonkey. However, before we do that, and it's very important that you do this first because it affects the load order, we actually have to install something called the code-injector. What this is actually just a utility that all of these mods use to inject their code into bonk.io. In fact, when you install the standalone version, it always comes with the code injector. So if you're using any standalone mods, you don't need to install this to use TamperMonkey mods. But because I'm not going to be installing any standalone mods, I'm not going to have the code injector, so we have to explicitly install it. We'll just click install this script, which is of course going to take us to a TamperMonkey page, and now we can install this script. And boom, it's installed. If I go to my my dashboard, it's right here. Once you've installed this, you can install the rest of them in whatever order you want. We'll start with Game Mode Maker this time. We'll go to the Releases tab, and then instead of using the .zip, we'll go for the .user.js, and we'll click this, and it'll show us a nice, helpful user script page, and we can just click the Install button, and we're done. Now I can go to kklee, and I can go to Releases right here, kklee.user.js, install, done. And finally, for bonk-host, I can go to Releases 2.3. I can go to bonk-host.user.js, install, and done. Now I can go to bonk.io, refresh. And now, as you can see, we have Game Mode Maker, we have the editor, we have kklee, and finally, we do also have the host mod enabled. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do the standalone mod installation in Chrome. It's very similar to Firefox, except as I understand it, you actually won't lose the mods every time you close Chrome. Instead of going to About Debugging, you're going to go to Chrome. You can see I was Googling this earlier. You're going to go to Chrome://extensions. And kind of to my annoyance, they don't really offer a button here you can click that'll open a file browser. You're going to have to open a file browser off on the side. But once you have a file browser open, you can just drag and drop. Except it won't work. Before you do the drag and drop, you're going to need to turn on developer mode. Now, once you turn that on, you may be tempted to click these buttons. Don't bother with them. Just go back to your file browser, and now when you drag and drop, it still doesn't work. Okay, forgive me. I had some technical difficulties. I don't know why, but for a little bit, it just was not letting me do the drag and drop. And now it is, and I have no idea why. But anyways, once you have developer mode turned on, you do need to have this turned on. You can just drag the .zip, and it should just hover over now and say drop to install. And boom, you've got Game Mode Maker. Do that for bonk-host. Boom, you've got bonk-host. And then finally, kklee. You do not need the injector. Kklee comes with the injector, and I think both of these probably do as well. At least kklee comes with it. Once you've got these installed, you can go to bonk.io, and you can see I've got kklee. Oh, well, that's Game Mode Maker. I've got also kklee, and I've got free join. Okay, so the really neat thing about this is I can actually close Chrome now. And if I open Chrome back up, unlike Firefox, it'll actually remember all of the mods that I had installed. So if I go to bonk.io, you can see I still have them installed. So that is one difference between Chrome and Firefox. Let's go over how to install bonk.io mods in Chrome using TamperMonkey. Again, we're going to want to go search for TamperMonkey. Go to tampermonkey.net. And we'll go to Chrome this time. And again, it's going to take us to the Chrome store. And we can just click add to Chrome. And again, it's very simple. You just add to Chrome, add extension. You don't have to go through any crazy menus, and it's just installed. All right, so don't be me. Don't be stupid. Don't try to install bonk-host and gmmaker and kklee both on TamperMonkey and as the standalone extension simultaneously. I have spent probably 40 minutes trying to get this to work because I had both of them installed simultaneously by accident. So allow me to just remove these. Yes, remove. And let's try this again. So I have TamperMonkey installed. That doesn't change. I'll even keep this section because it'll show you how to uninstall things. We'll go to dashboard, and then I'll just click the delete. Okay. And now I'm going to go load up the three big important links, and then we'll try this again. Okay, I've got the 3 links open now that we need. As always with TamperMonkey extensions, you need to install the code injector first. All the other extensions use this to inject their code. It comes built into the standalone extensions, but if you're using TamperMonkey, you have to install it manually. So it's going to say reinstall for me because I've done this about 5 million times. For you, it'll just say install. And you should just be able to click the button, and it should take you here, and you should just be able to install. And if you want to check that it installed, we'll go to Extensions, TamperMonkey, Dashboard, and look at that. It's installed. Now, not going to lie, gmmaker is a little bit glitchy. I think it's just such a massive mode. It just completely glitches out the browser. So we're going to have to follow a different process to install this, and I'll teach you what that process is here in a minute. But we'll go through the normal process, at least for bonk-host and kklee. So with kklee, we'll go to releases, we'll go to the user.js, and we'll click, for me it's reinstall, for you it's install, and boom, it's done. Bonk-host, we'll do the exact same thing. .user.js right there, reinstall, and boom, it's installed. And again, I can go back to this tab here, installed user scripts. If I refresh, hey, we've got it all installed. And if I go open bonk.io, hopefully, thank God it worked. Okay, yeah, it's installed. So now, the joy that is Game Mode Maker. The mod is just massive, so when you try to install it this normal way, Chrome just glitches out. You'll see it. I can't actually click reinstall. It won't work. The whole thing freezes. It's because this is one massive line of code, I think. Your browser's just going to glitch out for a few minutes. I mean, it's what's going to happen. It's going to lag. Did it fucking install? Okay, wow. That is literally the first time that has ever worked. Because I had so many issues, I'm going to show you the other way. So sometimes what will happen is instead of installing, for whatever reason, I'm just going to delete it here, it'll actually just download. So you end up having to manually install it. So to manually install it, after it's downloaded, you can just open it with Notepad. And this is the source code right here. And you'll just select all the source code, you'll copy it. Then you'll go to the little plus button here. And this is in your TamperMonkey dashboard. So TamperMonkey dashboard, that gets you here. You'll click that plus button, and then you will paste all of this in here, and you'll hit Control-S to save, or you could probably just do File Save as well. And now it's installed that way as well. So now I should be able to go to bonk.io, and look at that, we have Game Mode Maker. Now, finally, a word on Safari. Look, I don't have a Mac with an operating system less than 6 years old, so I just can't do the tutorial for Safari. It should be very similar. I don't know what installing standalone extensions looks like, but TamperMonkey should absolutely work. And it's, as you saw, I mean, just go look at the Firefox process, then go look at the Chrome process, and between the two of them, you should have enough information to figure it out for Safari. With that, I am going to end this video, this atrocious video that was supposed to only take 20 minutes to record and instead has taken, I shit you not, 3 hours. If you appreciate what I've done here, I highly recommend you subscribe. Or alternatively, join the FLAA Discord and come say hi during one of my streams. It would mean the world to me. No pressure though. Totally get it if you don't have time for that or interest.